Hey y'all, thanks for watching. So tonight I want to talk to y'all about heroes, but not Marvel movie heroes, superheroes, stuff like that, or who your personal heroes. I want to talk about hometown heroes. Now, usually in that context, people are talking about police officers or firemen, or maybe a fellow citizen who rushed in and helped a fellow citizen during a car accident, rendered aid, or helped during a crime had been committed, a robbery or something, and you helped somebody, um, and you were thrust into the position of becoming a hero. But in this case, I'm speaking about really unsung heroes, because too often there are members of our criminal justice system who are not police officers, who are not out there, quote, on the front lines fighting crime, but who are heroes nonetheless. And they get overlooked, and I think that's a shame. In this specific instance, I'm talking about a lady here from Florida, from the Mariana area, who is a former assistant state's attorney named Christina Pumphrey. Now, if you haven't heard of Miss Pumphrey, that sucks, because that means you probably haven't heard about Zachary Wester, and that's an even bigger shame if you haven't. Mr. Wester is a former Jackson County Sheriff's deputy who was arrested in July on multiple felony charges, all stemming from him stopping unsuspecting motorists and planting drugs on them. Often it was methamphetamines, and if not for Miss Pumphrey, there's no telling how many more victims there could have been. Currently, out of his 300 cases under review, 119 cases have been dropped. That doesn't make everything great for those people. If you're from Florida, then you've ever had a run-in with law enforcement, then you know that just because your charges were dropped or dismissed doesn't mean your record is clean. It's still on there, and to have those charges expunged from your record usually costs a minimum of about $600. And anybody who knows about having a criminal record knows that that could follow and harm you for a long time, with anything from being able to rent a home to getting college aid, so forth, get a job. Now, how did he get caught? Well, many factors played into that. The first was that he had too many arrests. He was just, frankly, too damn good at his job. The second thing was his body cam caught him planting meth on a motorist. And you would think that would have been enough to nip it in the bud right there. Signed, sealed, delivered. Break out that indictment. But no, they spent another year investigating him before charging and arresting him. Now, during that investigation, they searched his police car, and in the trunk, they found more narcotics, all bagged up, ready to go to be planted on future motorists. Even more possible victims of former Deputy Wester. And again, if it was not for Miss Pumphrey, there's no telling how much worse this situation could have gotten, how many more victims there could have been. Now, Miss Pumphrey saw this weird situation, investigated it, and took it to the proper officials to have legal action taken to stop this criminal action from continuing. So she did the right thing, and she followed the law, which is great, because often with the criminal justice system here in America, those two things aren't often in line with one another, and that being doing the right thing in the law. However, since the arrest, Miss Pumphrey has done an interview with a YouTube channel, which the host of that channel is actually a victim of Deputy Westers. And he does an interview allowing her to tell her side of the story, everything, how it unfolded. And during that interview, she stated that it bothered me that there was a deputy on the road arresting innocent people And it bothered me that the evidence was in the state's attorney's office, and the state's attorney was prosecuting innocent people whenever the evidence was in their office. That goes a long way to describe a person's character. It bothered me. Usually you hear today when people say it bothered me, they're talking about interracial relationships or homosexual relationships or Muslim people praying. It's stuff that they don't understand. It bothers them. And usually that's just all bigoted BS. This person was bothered by an injustice, a clear injustice. And clearly to her detriment, since she is now a former assistant state's attorney instead of a current assistant state's attorney, she did the right thing, which unfortunately many people would not have, as we all know. That being said, I want to say thank you to Miss Pumphrey. Thank you for being a hometown hero. Thank you for doing the right thing. We need more people like you. It's not about party politics. It's not about an us and them. See, far too often with the police, there's an us and them narrative, the sheepdog and the sheep and the wolves. There's an us and them. There's the thin blue line that separates us and them. The law isn't supposed to see a line. It's not supposed to see a distinction. Justice is often portrayed as being wearing a blindfold because justice is supposed to be blind to these things. It's supposed to be blind to who's rich and who's poor, white and black, police and not police. Everyone's words should have the same weight, and it should be prudent upon the state. It should be their burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, not for people to constantly have to profess and prove their innocence. And this is a clear case of why the justice system is supposed to work the way it's supposed to work. Because you have bad actors. It's not all police. We all know that. It's not all police. But you take a cross-section of any demographic and you will find bad actors. You cannot just say that it's all the police are good. You cannot say all the police are bad. At the end of the day, Miss Pumphrey did the right thing. She upheld the letter of the law. She upheld justice. And she did the morally correct thing. And again, I say thank you, Miss Pumphrey. Guys, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment below, share it. That would help. If you hated it, you know the deal. Go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you can come back, hit me again tomorrow. Thank you, guys.